Hey, this is Scott Cole from whentobuyandSellStocks.com, and wanted to put this video together discussing the concept of trend following. Now, many years ago, there was a stock, and it's still alive today, unfortunately, by the name of Rite Aid. Now, this company has its headquarters here in my hometown. So probably every single stockbroker in our region had their clients in this stock. And if you recall, the CEO of Rite Aid was Martin Grass, and he had taken over the company from his father, Alex Grass, and went on a buying spree of land and other buildings, trying to expand the Rite Aid empire, and essentially took on way too much debt. So he ended up cooking the books a little bit, and this wasn't known initially, but I wanted to point out on this stock, that right about here, back in 1999, it broke down significantly. So, my mom's stockbroker decides that the stock is cheap. And, because the stock had been trading up into the 50s at one point, and now here it was down in the 20s. And so, the mentality is, well, it's a good company, it's cheap, so, now's a good time to buy it. Well, the thing is, when a stock is selling off, it's selling off for a reason. And just because you don't know the reason doesn't mean that the stock is going to turn around or it's just cheap. So it absolutely makes no sense at all to buy a stock that's in a downtrend when you could be buying other stocks that are in uptrends, and you can be making money. Otherwise, you're just trying to catch a falling knife. So sometime in 1999, my mom's broker puts her into Rite Aid, and as you can see, not too long afterward, it resumed its downtrend, broke out of a classic trading pattern, a symmetrical triangle if you wanted to draw the lines, but it is there. And within a few short months, Rite Aid, as you can see, is trading at like $5. So really, when you're getting that kind of investment advice, that broker should just be taken out and shot, because this is just terrible to let this kind of capital fall apart on a client. It's inexcusable to provide that kind of advice. But this is what we mean by trend following. If you are a trend follower employing some kind of a weekly trend following strategy, and you decided you wanted to sell that stock, you could have sold it at 20 when it broke down and exited any time over the next 6 months, or even held it as long as you wanted for the next year, and made significant money by shorting this stock. So trend following systems are meant to, in the case of a stock that's trending down, you sell it low and you buy it back lower. In the case of a stock that is going up in price, now let's have a look at another beautiful stock just from that period of time. This is a stock that my father was in, and this is Qualcomm. He had gotten in the stock at a very low level, and as you can see, this chart is actually adjusted for stock splits. But I recall this particular stock vividly because this was at the height of the dot-com boom. Qualcomm, I believe, produces chips that go in some of the cell phones and whatnot. I think that's what they do, but I really don't pay attention to the actual business of the stock. But it got to late in 1999, early 2000 or whatever, and the stock at this time was actually trading at about $800, and they were announcing a split, but the day they were at about $800 prior to their split, a broker had come out and called the stock to go up to 1,000. Now let's just have a look at the daily chart on this thing. If I can still. Oh, let's just pause this. Okay, so now I brought up the daily chart, and here was the action right here at the top, and you know, the stock was blowing up to like $800, and it was being called to 1,000, and it actually went up 38% in one day, after it already basically quadrupled in the previous year, even more than that. I think this was a classic Peter Lynch 10-bagger, except that it did it all in 1 year. So then just one day it explodes up 38%, and an analyst is coming out saying it's going to go even higher from here. And the very next day we had a key reversal. It traded higher, and then it closed at its low, and it was down 7%, and that was on heavier volume than the previous day. So that day I actually called up my father and said, "You've just seen the top in the stock, and you need to get out." And he said, "Oh, but it's a good company, and it's gonna continue going up over time." And I said to him, "No, this is an historical high," because I've experienced this kind of panic buying in my trading career when I had been long coffee. I had experienced the same thing back in 1994. I had caught a huge move in coffee and recognized, you know, when a top is in. So, but just imagine, you know, you could have bought this stock with a decent trend following system and been long that stock for virtually that entire move from the beginning of 1999 when it broke out, and on this chart it says about $5, and at the top it's like over 80. So back then that would have been equivalent to 50 to 800. That's just a ridiculous move, but a good trend following system would have kept you in most of that move, and you know, you wouldn't have gotten out right at the top unless you recognized the signs of blow off top like that. But that's what trend following can do. So why would you want to buy a stock that looks like this when you could have had a stock that looks like this? And that's during the exact same time frame. So that's the beauty of trend following. And no matter what, there is always, as Jim Cramer says, there's always a bull market going on somewhere. And it makes no sense to buy things when they're trading downward. If anything, you want to be short those securities. So this is the essence of trend following, and you're going to learn at our website, if you sign up for our service, you're going to learn a variety of different ways to capture these kind of trends or little bits of it. But you're going to learn a variety of ways to get on board the trend and get off when you feel comfortable, and take chunks of money out of the markets. And I look forward to helping you do that. So take this with you, and we'll see you down the road in the next video.